Met quite a few friends through IRC. We had actually a channel called Senator's Wares, believe it or not, and that was the name the channel founder gave the channel long before I got involved, and it was because he was a fan of the I believe what was it, Ottawa Senators, Canada. You know, met a lot of good friends. One of my friends that I met, her name is Sandra Cummings. You guys on Facebook will see her mentioned quite often, and you know we're Facebook friends. I met her, hit it off with her as pretty good friends for a while. I've long considered her one of my best friends of all time. I don't know, there's just something about her, she just knows. You know, she can read stuff in before I even say it, which is really strange. So I consider myself lucky to have her as a friend again, and hope to rebuild that friendship. But anyway, getting back to the computer thing, 2000, 2001, doing IRC mostly. I started doing web design, but I really wasn't all that good at it. But Sandra, she taught me, believe it or not, she gave me kind of a jump start on the whole web development thing, because at the time she knew more than I did about web development. I was toying around with it. She was actually doing some web development for real, you know, business stuff, and I wanted into that, and so she taught me a lot. She would let me look over her source code, her HTML code. She would let me play around with stuff. Eventually, I was even doing some stuff for her and with her to help her out, you know, when she was knee-deep in projects, and I loved it. The whole idea, and still, you know, you'll still find me doing web pages. I got several clients. The whole idea that you can type a bunch of code, HTML code. Now we're getting into XSS and you know, JavaScript and DHTML nowadays, and all kinds of stuff, XML. But the whole idea that you can type stuff on, you know, and just basically text that looks like complete gobbledygook to the average person, and have it render something, you know, wonderful looking on the screen, it still just amazes me to this day, and I've been doing it for years now. I'm also very, very proficient in Photoshop. I can make some killer graphics. If you ever go to www.gamebeat.net, which is our home site, it's mainly about arcade games, or computer games and home console games and arcade games. All of the graphics you see there are made by me. The title overlays and stuff that you see on my videos, those are all made by me. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. You give me, you know, you give me a deadline and, you know, give me a project to do, and I can do it. Do lots of caffeine, lots of good old-fashioned Southern sweet iced tea, or Coca-Cola, or even, God forbid, Mountain Dew, or Jolt Cola. And I've been known to stay up for 3 days working on a project because, quite simply, well, for one, I'm an insomniac and a night owl, and I firmly believe that I do my best work when I'm, you know, uninterrupted and can just sit there for hours and hours on end. Now, I'm 34 years old, fixing to be 35 later on this year. This is obviously going to be a multi-part blog now. We're looking at 3, if not 4 parts, but I don't care. This should be interesting to some of you guys. So that just covers kind of the whole software side of things and the web side of things. How did I get so proficient at building computers and diagnosing and you know, working inside them with my hands? Well, I'd like to give you some big story about how I went to school and earned this certification and that certification, but honestly I didn't. There was a time, right after I got my GED, my mother insisted that I go to a trade school, So I co-signed on a loan. The loan was for something like $13,000, if I remember, and that was just the first loan. There would be another loan for the second semester. The school was called NEC, or National Education Center. Shortly after I got there, they changed their name to Education America. I have no idea if they're even in business anymore. But it's my firm belief that they're a bunch of crooks. I did learn a lot there. I built my own radio. I learned soldering techniques with a soldering iron. I learned metering techniques to use with a digital multimeter. Learned oscilloscope techniques. Learned how to use an oscilloscope, which I sadly do not own one of those. I wish I did. But about 3 months into the program, well, 4 or 5 months into the program, I had already progressed through basic electronics, soldering, diodes, learning how all the components work and everything. And we were just fixing to enter microelectronics, which microelectronics are basically surface mount electronics, really tiny. Trying to find something to show you guys. Here. Surface mount electronics, and of course there's none on this thing to show you. But they're basically very, very tiny, almost microscopic versions of larger electronics, like capacitors, resistors, diodes, and I had 3 of my instructors, 2 of my previous instructors, because they had kind of semesters, 4 weeks, every 4 weeks you change classes and change teachers. So I had 2 of my previous instructors, and the next instructor I was about to have for microelectronics got me in a corner and told me that my vision was not good enough to do the microelectronics. Even though everybody there was going to be using a magnifying lamp, my vision was not good enough, and that if I didn't drop out, they would fail me anyway. So, again, me being the stupid, naive 17-year-old that I was, I might have been 18 by then. This was in 95. I don't know, late 94, early 95. I think I was 19. I was so distraught, so distressed, I dropped out. Another stupid decision. I hope, these were all old fogies. I hope that they're dead now and they're getting what they deserve. That's all I can say. I hope they're rotting in hell. I know that's bad for me to say, but it's unchristian-like. But, that really hurt.